Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're really enjoying my videos so far. Please let me know in the comments below my videos what you think of them. Today I'm just going to take you through a really simple 30-minute wake up and mobilise session. So we're going to start sitting down. Now you can either start in cross-legged, or if that isn't comfortable you can bring your legs out in front of you. And then from here we're just going to do a couple of little mobilisation exercises. So we're going to start by just taking our ear to our shoulder. And coming back up. Other ear to other shoulder. And coming back up. And again we're going to do 3 more of these. So just warming up. Stretching out through that neck. And one more to each side. Don't force it, just take it to where you can. Okay, then we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So just starting to mobilise through those shoulders. And then starting to think about your arms getting involved. And then the other direction. So letting your elbows just move however they fancy today. And then from here you're going to reach both arms out in front. Make sure you haven't rounded your shoulders, so think about your shoulder blades pulling your shoulders back. Make sure you're sitting upright. Remember, pelvis is a bucket. Then from here we're going to just pull those arms out to the side, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then as you close your arms up, I want you to imagine you're squishing something heavy. So you're pushing those arms back together. And again, opening up, squeezing those shoulder blades. And then imagine you're coiling up a big spring. You're really pushing those hands together. Get that spring back together. And again, opening up through those shoulders. And pushing that spring back together. 2 more like this, opening up through those shoulders. And then pushing back together. And final one, opening up through those shoulders. And then pushing that big spring back together. Okay, then you're going to take one arm up, out to the side, and back to the middle, and the other arm up, out to the side, and back to the middle. So your arm is drawing like a triangle type shape. Make sure your arm comes back to where it was before, just working and mobilising through that shoulder. And do one more to each side like this. And then bring those arms down. Okay, taking your feet out in front of you, making sure you're sitting upright. So remember, sit bones are on the floor, pelvis is a bucket and is upright. Hands are just gently resting on the floor. We're going to take a big inhale here. And then you're going to exhale and just slide yourself forward. Just take it to where you can hold it. Inhale there. And then exhale. Slide yourself back up. Inhaling at the top. Exhale. Tucking your chin, just leaning forward. So just starting to roll and mobilise through that back. Exhale, come back up. And again, inhale, then exhale. Taking it forward, holding it there for an inhale. And then exhale. Coming back up. And again, so tucking your chin. Taking yourself forward. Holding it there. And then bring yourself back up. Okay, now you're going to take your left hand, put it on your right leg. Take your right arm round to the back of your back and just turn to the right. And come back to the middle and swapping hands and turning to the left. So you're just increasing that thoracic rotation, making sure you're sitting upright. So imagine that there's something on top of your head. And to keep it there, you've got to keep pushing into it. So keep sitting up nice and tall. one more to each side. And final one. Okay, then bringing those legs in, finding your way to 4-point kneeling. So you're going to make yourself into a good box to start with. Then you're going to take one foot, step back, other foot, step back. Then you're going to step in with that first foot, in with the second foot. Then go out in the other direction. Try and make sure that you put your knees back down underneath your hips and don't bring them in any closer. Okay, final one like this. Okay, then from here we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to step back, but this time you're going to walk your hands back. Think about your knees softening and bring yourself so you're almost at the bottom of a roll down. Hold it here for an inhale. And then exhale, bring your arms back out. So we're back into our plank position. We're going to go knee, knee, and then we're going to go foot, foot, walk yourself back into the roll down. Hold it there. Inhale, then exhale. Walk yourself back out. Knee, knee, foot, foot, and walking back up. Holding it there. Inhale. And then exhale, walking yourself back out. Knee, knee, foot, foot, and back. We're going to do one more of these. And walking yourself back into your plank, holding it there. Knee, knee, foot, foot. Keep that core engaged. Remember, pelvic floor should be on. So we're on floor 3 or 2 of that lift. And we're on floor notch 2 or 3 of that belt. Okay, then coming into our 4-point kneeling, again, you're going to pick up your left arm, take it through the gap, take your ear to the floor and just hold that nice threading the needle stretch. Then bringing the arm back in and the other side, taking your arm through, holding that nice threading the needle stretch. And then coming back up. Okay, and then from here, just bring yourself back to both knees. Give those wrists a little wiggle. And then we're going back into a box. So if you need to, you can go onto 2 fists if you're finding that that's a little bit tough on your wrist. And we're going to do a glute press. So wrists are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Then from here, you're going to make sure the weight stays as even as possible between your hands that are staying on the floor and your knee that's staying on the floor. You're going to lift up. So squeeze that left glute, lift up your right leg. Then from here, you're going to extend it a little bit higher. Bring it over to the left-hand side. Bring it back to the middle. Extend it out so your leg is straight. Bring your toe, tap the floor, and then come back. And we're going to do 5 more of those. So extend that leg higher, take it over the other leg. Come back to the middle, straighten out that leg, and tap the floor for 4 more. Keep thinking belly button to spine, keep that core engaged. Make sure the weight is staying as even as possible, so keep squeezing into that left glute. Straighten out that leg and tap, and 3 more. So extending that leg up and over and up and straight and tap, and 2 more. So up and over and up and straight and tap, and 2 more. up and over and up and straight and tap. And final one, so up and over and up and straight and tap. And bring that leg back in. Well done. Okay, other side, here we go. So engaging your right glute, squeezing that right glute, take your left leg up into like your donkey kick type position. Then from there, lifting that leg higher, take it over your right leg, back up higher, straighten out that leg, and then bring it back to the floor. And again, so back into your donkey kick, up and over, and up and straight and down. Keep thinking belly button to spine. Keep that core engaged. Pelvic floor on. Think about that weight distribution. Keep squeezing into that right glute. Make sure you're keeping some weight in that knee. And we've got 3 more to go. Going in the muddle. And final one, so over, up, extend, tap, and back in. Then pulling yourself back into child's pose, taking your knees out wide, just giving yourself a stretch here. Just mobilizing through those wrists at the same time. Then walking your hands around to the left, holding it there. And walking your hands back to the front and round to the right. And then back to the front. Okay, then coming onto your back. First thing you need to think about is that setup, so making sure your feet are hip distance apart, pelvis is tilted, so that little gap is under your back, but not so much that you can lift your hand off the floor. Then you're pulling your ribs down towards your hips, engaging your core, scooping up through that pelvic floor. Then we're bringing both legs up to tabletop. Make sure your knees are over your hips, shins are parallel to the ceiling. Upper body is just gently resting on the floor, so don't carry any tension in your shoulders. Turn your palms upright if you feel that you're pushing down on the floor with your hands. Then from here, you're just going to extend one leg up and then just bring your toe towards your face. Then point that toe back at the ceiling, bring it back to tabletop, and the other foot. So we're going up, flexing your foot, pointing your toe, bring it back. And again, so flex up, point back. Keep thinking belly button to spine, keep that core engaged. Pelvic floor on. Check in with your shins, make sure that they're not higher than tabletop, so don't let your feet start to come up any higher. And we're just flexing and extending through that leg. We're going to do 3 more on each side. Taking belly button to spine, keep it nice and controlled. Core on. And final one on each leg. Okay, now we're going to take both legs up at the same time. So both legs come up. Check in with your lower back, so make sure you're now not pushing yourself into the mat. Then you're going to flex both feet at you, point your toes, take them back to tabletop. Going to do 4 more like that. So both legs come up, flex those feet, point those toes, and back. And again, up, flex, point, back. Core stays engaged, think belly button to spine. And 2 more like this. Keep pulling your ribs down towards your hips. And final one. Okay, then from here, we're going to take both legs up into the air. Flex out through those feet, bring your arms into the air, and then just going to roll your head, neck and shoulders off, try and go towards your toes, then bring your top half back down. Make sure you don't bring your shoulders up towards your ears, so keep your shoulder blade back and down. You're just rolling and curling yourself towards your legs. And we're going to do 6 more of these. Keep thinking belly button to spine. Try and keep your feet nice and still. Pelvic floor engaged. And 4 more. Just reaching towards your legs. If you need to make it easier, just bend your knees a little bit. And 2 more. And final one. Okay, then bringing those knees into your chest, giving that back a little rock. And then you're going to take that rock into a circle. So you're just going to just let the knees move away from your chest and make a nice big rolling circle. Keep that core engaged, but everything else is just nice and loose and just floating. And 1 more in this direction, and in the other direction. Just rolling through those hips, just opening up, mobilizing through that spine, giving it a nice little massage at the same time. And 2 more like this. And final one. Okay, then bringing those legs down to the floor. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 options now. So we're going to do shoulder bridge because it's a really good mobilization exercise for that spine. It's going to stretch out through those quads. It's great for your hamstrings and glutes. It's going to build lots of strength in those too. So it's a fab morning exercise. But I'm going to give you 2 options. So we're going to do a single leg bridge, but I'm going to give you normal bridge as an option as well. So arms just gently resting on the floor. You're going to roll yourself up into bridge. So this is option 1 if you're not ready for single leg yet. Squeeze those glutes. Think about pulling your ribs down towards your hips. Hold it at the top. Inhale. And then exhale. Think about slowly replacing each vertebrae back to the floor. Remember, your pelvis stays up for as long as possible. Just rolling back through that spine. If you think you'd like to have a go, you're going to bring 1 leg off the floor, and then where we would normally roll through your spine, we're going to cut a little bit of that out. So you're going to just roll yourself back, so you've flattened off the bottom half of your back, and then push with your glute, bring yourself up. Make sure your hips are next to each other. Hold it there for an inhale, and then exhale. Think about rolling back down into that thoracic spine, and then just bring the rest of you down to the floor. Leg comes back to the floor, other foot comes up, and just rolling up, holding yourself at the top. Inhale, and exhale, rolling yourself steadily back down. Okay, whichever one you're doing, I'm going to do 4 more. So if you're doing single leg, you're going to be going for a little bit longer than those that are doing both legs on the floor. So I'm going to do single leg so that we're all in time. Keep thinking belly button to spine, keep that core engaged. Pelvic floor on, just rolling down. So even on the single leg, you can come down 1 vertebra at a time. Just when you feel like that hip won't let you go any further, then you'll just have to slowly lower yourself the rest of the way. bringing yourself up, hold it at the top for an inhale. Exhale, slowly lowering yourself down. If you're doing one leg and you're finding your hips are dropping, then just go back to both feet being on the floor, rolling yourself up and then rolling yourself back down. Okay, if you're doing single leg, we're going to do 2 more on each side. If you're doing both legs on the floor, you're just going to do 2 more. Keep thinking belly button to spine, keep that pelvic floor engaged. Think about the muscles that you're working, so really squeeze those glutes. Think about lengthening through your quad as you come up into your bridge. Final one on each side. And one more like this. Okay. Then bringing your left leg out long along the floor. Bring your right leg out long along the floor. Left leg is coming up and over. Hold that left leg on your right side and just keep your left arm on the floor. Hold it there. Bring that leg back to the middle. Take your left leg out long, right leg comes in this time. Right leg comes up and over, left arm comes out and start to hold it there. And bring that leg back to the middle, taking yourself out into a full body stretch. Then from there, see if you can bring your fingers over your head, tuck your chin and slowly roll yourself up to sitting. If you can't do that and you know that it's just not going to happen today, then just find your way to sitting. Okay, so we're going to do our little mermaid stretch next. We've done a version of this before. So left hand is coming to the floor, legs are just next to you with your knees bent. Then you're going to bring that top arm up and over, push your right hip away from the floor, hold it there. You can bend your left leg, you can bend your left arm if you need a little bit more of a stretch. Then bring the arm back down and and back up. And one more like this. Okay, this time you're going to lift your bum off the floor. So lifting up onto your knees, bring the arm up and over. So you're making yourself almost into a rainbow. Think about squeezing, using those obliques. Keep that core engaged and then come back down. I'm going to do 5 more of those. So lifting up, really stretching up and out of that side and down. And 3 more. Up and over. Keep that core engaged. Think belly button to spine. And 2 more. Up and over. And down. And 1 more. Up and over. And back down. Super. Swapping sides. So making sure your feet are comfortable, knees are bent, sitting however is working for you. Bringing that arm out. You can take it out a little bit further if you felt like you needed more space on the other side, and then just bring that arm up and over. Push your hips away from the floor. Stretching out through that side. Bring that arm back up, and again bring that arm up and over. Holding it there. Make sure you're breathing into your stretches, and 2 more, up and over. Coming back up, and final one, bringing it up and over. And coming back up. Okay, this time bringing the hand to the floor. Coming up, bring your bum off the floor, stretching out through that side, and bringing yourself back down. Think about your hip and knee being in a line, so you may need to do what I just did and just move your knees back a bit so you're in a nice line. Keep thinking belly button to spine, keep that core engaged, pelvic floor on, so you're really pulling yourself up through those obliques. Just take your arm over your head as far as you can. Don't feel like you're pulling your shoulder out of its socket, and come down, and 2 more. And final one. And back down. Okay, then coming back onto your bum. Bringing your feet into diamond. Then from here, you're going to bring both arms out to the sides. You're going to rotate through that mid-spine, and then bend yourself over to the front. And the other way. So think about your arms and try and reach to the back and the front as you rotate. And final 2 like this. Keep your belly button to spine, keep that core engaged. And 1 more like this to each side. Okay, then final exercise. So you're bringing your feet so they're hip distance apart. You're bringing your palms down so they're next to your hips. Elbows are just gently resting on the floor. Think about your shoulder blades. Make sure they're down and back. You're not bringing your shoulders up to your ears. Then you're going to bring both legs into your tabletop position. Engage that core. Think about pulling your ribs down towards your hips. Then from here, you're going to take 1 foot down to the floor, and then bring it in a nice big circle back to tabletop, and the other side. Down and up, down and up. So it's like you're flicking something away with your foot, but it's a nice slow and controlled movement. Keep thinking belly button to spine. Core stays engaged, pelvic floor on. Try and keep your shins parallel with the ceiling. If you need to make it harder, take your knees a little bit further away from you. And we're going to do 3 more on each side. Keep that pelvic floor engaged, core is on. Make sure you're not hunching up through your shoulders. Keep your shoulders just gently relaxed. The arms are just relaxing on the floor. Final 1 on each leg. Got completely lost on how many we're doing. Okay, then dip back, legs out, and take yourself into a full body stretch. And from there again, see if you can just roll yourself back up to sitting. Coming so your legs are out in front of you, bringing your right leg up and over your left leg. Left arm wraps lap round, looking to the right, sitting up nice and tall on those sit bones. Bring that leg back, down in front. Bring your left leg up and over. Right arm wrapped around, looking towards the left. Again, really sit up nice and tall. Get a good stretch through that piriformis. Okay, then bringing both feet together, just giving yourself a final little stretch, so just bending yourself forward over your feet, just hold it where you can. And coming back up to sitting, giving yourself 3 big backwards shoulder rolls and 3 big forward shoulder rolls. And we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you for joining my Wake Up and Mobilise session this morning. I hope you found it beneficial and you feel energised and ready for your day. Take care.